Deep dive into CVE 2025-29927, Next.js Middleware Authorization Bypass. Introduction. In March 2025, security researchers discovered a serious vulnerability in Next.js, a popular React-based framework. This vulnerability, assigned CVE 2025-29927, allows attackers to bypass authorization mechanisms implemented in middleware. As a result, unauthorized users can access protected routes and resources, posing a significant security risk to applications that rely on middleware for authentication and access control. This deep dive will explore how the vulnerability works, which Next.js versions are affected, real-world examples with code explanations, mitigation strategies, understanding the vulnerability. What is middleware in Next.js? Middleware in Next.js allows developers to intercept incoming requests before they reach the API routes or pages. It's commonly used for authentication and authorization, verifying user identity before allowing access, logging and analytics, tracking user behavior, redirection and rewriting, dynamically altering requests. What's wrong in Next.js? The vulnerability abuses the X-middleware subrequest HTTP header, which Next.js uses internally. Attackers can manipulate this header to trick the middleware into thinking a request is coming from a trusted source, thus bypassing authorization checks. Affected versions: Next.js 11.1.4 through 13.5.6. Next.js 14.x before February 14, 25. Next.js 15.x before 15.2.3. If your project is using one of these versions, you're at risk. Technical breakdown and exploit example. Vulnerable code example. Here's a basic Next.js middleware implementation used for authentication. Expected behavior: if a request doesn't have a valid authorization header, it gets redirected to /login. The problem: attackers can manipulate the X-middleware subrequest header to bypass this check. Exploiting the vulnerability. An attacker can craft a request like this. What happens? The middleware incorrectly assumes this is an internal request. It skips the authentication check. The attacker gains unauthorized access to protected routes. Why does this happen? The X-middleware subrequest header is designed to prevent infinite request loops in middleware but was not properly secured. This allowed attackers to spoof requests, tricking middleware into thinking they were legitimate. How to fix the vulnerability. 1. Upgrade to a patched version. The Next.js team has patched this issue in Next.js February 14, 25 and 15.2.3. Run the following command to update. Or implement better middleware validation. Instead of relying on headers alone, validate the origin and authentication differently. Reject unauthorized requests early. Modify your middleware to explicitly reject requests with X-middleware subrequests from untrusted sources. Use server-side authentication. Instead of relying on middleware, move critical authentication logic to API routes or server components, ensuring attackers can't easily bypass security. Leverage Next.js middleware matchers. Instead of applying middleware globally, target only specific routes that need protection. This ensures middleware only runs where necessary, reducing attack vectors. Fixing the issue in an existing project. Step-by-step guide to secure your Next.js application. Check your Next.js version. Run. If your version is outdated, upgrade it immediately. Audit your middleware. Search for any middleware files, middleware.ts or middleware.js, and check for authentication logic that relies only on headers. Patch vulnerable middleware. Replace weak authentication logic with the secure example provided earlier. Test your application. Use tools like Postman or curl to send test requests with manipulated X middleware subrequest headers and ensure unauthorized requests are rejected. Deploy the fix. After testing, deploy your changes to production and monitor logs for suspicious activity. Conclusion: CVE 2025-29927 is a serious security vulnerability in Next.js that allows attackers to bypass authentication by exploiting the X middleware subrequest header. Key takeaways: Next.js versions before February 14, 25 and 15.2.3 are vulnerable. Attackers can use crafted requests to skip authentication. Fix the issue by upgrading Next.js and improving middleware validation. To secure your Next.js application, always validate requests properly and never trust client-controlled headers for authentication.